Dharma Bites is brought to you by Free Buddhist Audio, the Dharma for your life. Our work is funded entirely by donations from our generous listeners. If you would like to help us keep this free, make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. Thank you, and happy listening.
So I guess I was curious about how would it be to be completely on my own when there was no one to reflect me back, no one to support me, to encourage me. What would I actually feel then? I guess I was trying to very naively, I recognise, answer the question in my mind, if I was the last Dharma practitioner in the world, would I carry on practicing? I felt like it on the island, but would I in the world? Was there enough in me that would enable that to happen? Or would it all just wither away and be forgotten? Of course, being on a small island for 2 weeks is not really going to answer that question. I recognise that. At the time, it felt like a little start, a mini step. I was also aware that there was another issue that I was needing to look at that was really getting in my way of feeling more confident in myself about where I was going, about my going for refuge. And that was really my inability to truly forgive myself for deeply unskillful behaviour of many years earlier, resulting in my deeply hurting somebody and having a lot of consequences. And before coming away, I talked to a very good order member friend of mine about this, and she had suggested that I might try using puja on my solitary as a means of purification, as a kind of way to move beyond that guilt, along with meditation, everything else, and try to move beyond it to a healthier sense of remorse, and ultimately to forgive myself. And of course, in forgiving myself, to be able to truly make amends to the person I'd hurt. So all in all, this kind of chapter with all its questions, and in particular Pingia's praises, it spoke to me. It spoke to me. I kind of enjoyed just reading it and rereading it. And I remember a verse from Pingia's praises really kind of started to just resonate with me. Perhaps whole texts don't, but sometimes just a few lines really work for me. And that was up until now, before I'd heard Gautama's teachings. People had always told me this. This is how it has been. This is how it has always been, and this is how it will always be. Only the constant of refrain, of breeding ground for speculation. So much of my time on that retreat was spent meditating and doing ritual and writing and reflecting and being. And when I wasn't doing that, I would go for walks. Now, the isle is fairly flat, except for a smallish hill. I wanted to climb the hill. I'd got this obsession about climbing this hill. But despite the smallness of the island, every time I set off for this hill, I got lost and ended up feeling like I would simply never reach it. I'd kind of return home feeling puzzled, feeling disappointed. I could see the hill, but I couldn't seem to find the path to climb it. And I guess in my mind, being on my own, the kind of hill started to kind of symbolically reflect my inability to let go of my guilt. It was like the two were there together. However, over the days, I started to recognise that this inability to forgive myself came from childhood conditioning, very strict Catholic, and less a product of the kind of actual behaviour that I had committed. And I'd grown up, as many of us I'm sure, have grown up with a deep, deep sense of right and wrong, real absolutes. There was good and there was bad. And I felt stuck. I felt I had absolutely no right to give up this sense of guilt, that I should almost kind of drag it around behind me for the rest of my life. That phrase, this is how it had always been, and this is how it will always be, really resonated with me. I think that was kind of very much drummed into me as a child. But slowly, I started to kind of understand that this guilt not only didn't serve me or anyone else, but it kept me chained to a sense of disconnect, of isolation from others, and of course clinging to a particular version of myself. My guilt was about me, it had much more to do with me and less to do with the person that I'd actually hurt. And maybe in part it felt like it was keeping me disconnected from the Buddha and really coming into relationship. And it was like, well, okay, I've got all this Dharma understanding. So where's the Dharma in this? Where's the kindness, the compassion, that sense of loosening, a sense of self?
We hope you enjoyed today's Dharma Bite. Please help us keep this free. Make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. And thank you.